Welcome to episode 5 of Whispers from the Raven's Nest. I guess I'm going to start on what feels alive for me right now. I noticed I was just going back on things. There are multiple things I'm in the process of doing, and I was looking at Kami. I was like, let me check how long it's been since I've posted the episode. And it's been 8 days, and my goal has been within about a week or so. I give myself grace if it's a day or two, as like I said, I'm in the process of being more openly vulnerable with certain things that usually I would keep more for myself or like really personal groups. But I was thinking, because I was feeling resistance around speaking, and yet it's been coming to me to talk. And so I just finished my own little recording of some more personal stuff I want to keep, and just so I can, it's like fresh downloads I just had today. So I want to kind of work through those, integrate those, and see what comes through for those before that's something that I share. And I feel more open. So let's see. So I was just thinking, I guess, about the month ahead. We're at the end of May, which is the fact that we're almost halfway through the year is just, the way time moves. But I was looking at my planner for June, and a part of me felt overwhelmed and another part of me didn't. Because I was looking at, there's something almost every day in my planner to do, multiple things for some days. And I don't, like I said, a part of me, it's like, I notice, like say when I used to before, look at that, and I would feel deep, intense, overwhelming my body. Now, not so much. It's just like, it's all okay, a peace, a calm, and just, okay, type energy for it, and it's okay. I look at it, the month ahead is going to be expansive because I'm in multiple containers right now. We're going deeper into my skill sets when it comes to business, when it comes to my spiritual gifts and skills and my abilities as a space holder, even embodiment on a deeper level. And it was funny because I was already in a couple containers that I was called to get in, and this one that came up felt really powerful in the line. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm already in these containers. And I decided to sign up, and from the first, we just started earlier this week. And when I watched the replay of the meeting, because I was at work when it was doing the first one, I was just like, yeah, okay, I see why I'm in it. And not in a necessarily, and I've noticed for me lately, I'm being called to bring in, I think I've mentioned this already, structure in a way that's aligned for me, that creates a certain safety for my feminine energy and flow. So basically tapping into my masculine energy more, but in a way that's aligned, in a way that really creates a safe and yet expansive container for my feminine energy, instead of, and that's actually been a goal of mine, is creating more harmony between my feminine and my masculine flow. And over time, that's been something that's, it's a process. And so I'm excited. I'm honestly excited to come out on the other side of these things. I'm in multiple containers. Like I said, two of them started, one of them started this week, the other one started last week, and I have one that's starting at the end of next week. And then I have something else, two other things that I go in as I can right now. So basically a lot of information coming in. And it's okay. It's okay. It's not It's actually good for me for multiple reasons. It's good because I'm learning more capacity to hold things coming in. And it's great because as I'm recovering from my brain injury, I'm getting to a place where I'm building up a tolerance too for my mind. Like when I first got hurt, like I don't know if I mentioned this before, I my memory, I lost certain things with my memory, but also my brain's ability to hold as much like before the accident was like gone. Like it wasn't even a thing of me trying. It was my brain just could not handle it, and that makes sense. So now I'm at a place where I'm doing these things to work on increasing my brain's capacity as I'm still healing. So in that way, it's very supportive for me, and it's supportive in the different skills. Um, and yeah, and another thing that I'm making sure to honor too is self care. So I'm not fully sure what that's gonna look like throughout the month, but I did put that intention in there and wrote in some like rest and stuff like that too. Even on the days maybe I only have one thing or something, or like rest, self care, things like that. So I'm scheduling in a couple appointments to assist me with that. Um, and yeah, it's just a process. It's I don't know. It's like I have things to talk about and not so much right now. Not so much for this. At least that I'm thinking of. I'm really trying to see what flows through. Okay, I just heard to talk about my downloads a little bit. So I got some downloads, basically like some coming together of different um, deities, beings that I've been working with over the years. It was like all of them were coming, or a good chunk of them were coming together to bring me supportive frequency and energy for more downloads and clearing that's going to be coming through. So I'm going to allow that process to do what it does, to do what it do, and yeah, not rush it or anything like that. I noticed too, I'm starting to feel more open to connect with others. Like I've been kind of in my cave healing, um, and everything else, and I'm slowly starting to feel like connection more. Like my spirit is desiring it, and even like I guess has that capacity. I'm still having symptoms, I'm still healing, but I'm slowly getting better. So I'm grateful for that. It's funny because I had a friend that reached out to me the other day about asking if I still make my products, my elixirs and stuff, because they was possibly saying about um, referring somebody to me. And then I met somebody earlier this month when I was getting some food at this local vegan vegetarian place. And we were talking about maybe getting together at the park to talk about collabing on something. And it's interesting because these different things are coming in, and it feels in a time and space where it's more aligned. And so I was talking to my friend. I've known her for years, more like one of my spiritual soul sisters, as we say. And she's working on her thing, and I'm working on my things. We're in both of our processes, and some things came in about working with products, and it was funny because she's a projector as far as human design, and so it's interesting. Sometimes she'll bring things up to me as when it's things that I'm in the process of working through. And I was literally in the process of deciding how I wanted to redo some business stuff. And I took that as some external confirmation. Not so much to still shift my focus back to my products, but don't necessarily just put them off to the side, because I've been kind of redoing how I think about things. And like I said starting out new, but personally and slightly professionally before I have offered some things and done things. So I have like natural incense blends and um, like some elixirs I've made with tinctures and everything, and some bath salt blends and herbal blends and other things that I've been working on. And but Spirit has really been calling me to really kind of put a pause on that to a degree and focus more on other aspects, things that aren't as labor intensive to put in place first. And then I got a download to look at some other things, maybe to not so much offer so many physical things, but maybe have a certain set of physical things that I offer, and the other things they'll just be limited batches as I have them available, so that way it's not as labor intensive. I remember when I first started, initially when it came to me to start my business years ago, it was more about, I saw myself doing like mainly physical things, having an apothecary, in which I still feel like that's going to come about to a degree, but it's going to look different than I originally thought, because I have been in the process of working through wounds and patterns of overgiving, overpleasing, draining myself, focusing on the needs of others from childhood, ancestral, and other stuff. And as that stuff has been shifting, how I do things shift too, where for one, I'm honoring the value and my worth that I have and that I can offer, but I'm also not doing it in a way where I'm drained. And like, I desire to be able to show up and support in sacred service, but in a way that my cup is being filled from that. Like, when I do volunteer work, for instance, I don't do it all the time. I'm not gonna say like I do, but whenever I do volunteer work, this isn't business wise. This is just personally. I always have this thing of fulfillment, because sacred service is actually important to me. It always has been something that's very important to a part of my soul. So I know, and it's just like me figuring out what does that look like, what's aligned for me. Like, one of the ways that I do desire to, that I feel like it's part of sacred service for me, but also it's part of something that fills me, not just from the aspect of sacred service, but a need that I have, is I have a very deep connection to animals. And even as a teenager, I wanted to be a foster mom for animals like cats and dogs. And I'm not able to now, living wise, and that's fine. I was able to foster a cat temporarily last year a little bit for, this was before the accident, I think, or either some months in, where I wasn't fully, but I was okay enough to have like a cat around, and, I don't remember exactly. But, and then I saw myself as being a foster mom, like still having children of my own, but also being a foster mom. I don't know where I'm at yet on that now, but those were two things that came to me even as a teenager. I wanted to do, and I still plan on, at least for animals. I don't know about it. I still might, as far as for children too. We'll see. I'm just letting my journey unfold and all that as it does. So that's something that fits, because I had a cat for 13 years. That was my baby. I had to put her down about 7 years ago now, and that was some of the deepest guilt and shame I ever felt around that decision, for multiple reasons, and that I've been working through in layers. But like the first few months after I did, I was just ooey, and I really had to, because I did like self-sabotage too, even through like eating things that weren't that great for me and other things. That was a process I really deeply had to work through, and parts of it in layers. It comes up when it's ready to, still too. I had her since I was a teenager, so I wasn't ready to have another fur baby or animal around for a long time. And so yeah, the first time I did again was either, like I said, late last year or early last year before the accident. And it was a cat named Socks. I had him around for about 2 or 3 months. I don't think it was 2 or 3 months. I think it was like maybe 2 months. Because it was like this situation, this legal thing. It was like a hoarder's house, and the animal control people, they found like 150 cats in the house, and so they literally was filling up the center, so they needed people to foster, and it just felt right to go ahead and do that. And I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't used to it because he was so traumatized, so he was hiding all the time, and I was like, I wanted to play for him, but it was an opportunity for me to learn to, like, say for instance, I had to learn to, even with like flowers and stuff. Sometimes we see flowers and we're quick to pick them because they're so beautiful and they're pretty. And honestly, though, it's a difference between liking, admiring, and loving something enough to respect that the environment's in and let it stay there, to just admire its beauty. And I've been really intentional about practicing that. About I don't need to pick a flower or anything just because I see its beauty and everything. Like I can literally look at it, say thank you for your beauty, bringing some light or some beauty into my world or whatever the case may be is. If I'm called to pick a flower, if it feels aligned, I'll ask for permission and I'll say thank you. If I have like offerings on me, I'll do that. Or like when I go to the park sometimes and do spiritual practices, I will take offerings like cacao beans or pieces of like blue corn or something, and I will give it to the land. And sometimes a simple and a genuine thank you is enough. So I do it now, but very rarely. It really depends on if it's aligned. And that's the same thing with people. It's something too. It's like letting them be in their process. So I bring that back to the cat Socks because I was used to my baby. Like she was all up under me, and sometimes, of course, as a cat, she want to be in her space and blah blah blah, not be bothered. And it's funny because I'm like that too. Like sometimes I want to be up under a person, sometimes I don't. And it's not like necessarily where nothing's wrong. It's just I require time to myself and space to myself. And that can be sometimes it's like totally by myself in a space by myself, a room, a house, or it's like we can be in the same room, but let me do what I'm doing over here, just like I let you do what you're doing. So I understand that. And so I had to basically go deeper into that with Socks because it was like I haven't had a fur baby around in a while. I'll go to the cat cafes sometimes just to be around them. Um, and so I was like, oh, I just want to cuddle and everything else. But when I saw, like, I could feel the trauma and he was scared. And I thought about it too. I was like, if he was in a house of 150 cats, and cats, like, they don't interact like dogs do with each other. Even though some dogs still might fight and stuff, but cats, they have a different energy about them. They're not for everyone. Just like dogs aren't for everybody, but I notice a lot of times people talk about cats. And so think about the fighting and the fear and everything else that probably went down. So the fact that Socks finally had a place to himself, no other cats, didn't have to worry about anybody popping out, just could be who was himself. So I was like, okay, so I let him be. I just kept his water and his food filled, his litter box clean. I would talk to him every once in a while from afar, like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Just a little bit as I'm walking past, and then I'll keep going on my way. Just to kind of interact, but also let him be in his space. And so that was a process, too, of just, like, allowing him to heal and be, probably maybe for the first time in his life, because he wasn't that old. So, and it actually reminded me of an ex from years ago, the second person I was ever with. And I thought about because he had come from a space of, I guess, past relationships where he was used to chaos and drama and everything else. And with me, it was peace and just like, we weren't fighting. I'm not the type to get in your face. Now, I've had times in my life where, I could be like that, mostly with my first relationship. Honestly, I learned a lot in that relationship. But even then, it still wasn't like chaotic craziness or anything else. It's just not my jazz at all. But I learned a lot too in that. So it's just like I'm a really chill, peaceful person. And I also understand that if you're not used to it, peace and stillness and quiet can make you uncomfortable. Like, we can have moments where we laugh and joke, and if we need to talk about something, of course. But for the most part, the energy and frequency around me is peace. That's just, and and just being able to feel safe to just chill and relax. And I noticed in that was when a lot of things came up for him. And it makes sense. And I don't know why that connected to that, but my brain connects different things for different reasons, so I'm gonna talk about it. It's interesting though, because when you're in a space with chaos, or you usually have to be on guard, sometimes you don't have the capacity to really go within yourself and think and do inner work, or even have deep thoughts and work through things, because you're always on guard about what's happening next. What do you have to defend yourself against? Whether it's somebody who's always trying to invade your space, somebody who always wants to argue and fight, someone, you always have to defend yourself, your motives, your actions too, or whatever the case may be is. And so that's like your main focus. And so that concept can keep you in survival mode. And when you have a space where you can finally just relax and just be, yeah, it might be uncomfortable, it might be new, and even some people will resist it, whether they want to go back to the chaos because that's what feels familiar to them. But if you just sit in it, if you just let it be, you start to open up space and capacity within yourself where you can really think about things and work through things and process things more on a deeper level, because now you have that safety to do it. Now your body can finally relax, and that really can make all the difference sometimes. Even if sometimes maybe at home you don't have that, if you have a park you like, or go to the library, you can go inside like a study room to get time to yourself, or something else. Go sit in the car, or whatever the case may be. It's like finding those pockets of safety, and the more you increase your capacity for it, the more you're allowed that to come into your life. So, like I said, not fully sure why that came through, but maybe for somebody hears it or whatever the case may be, it will, activate something or whatever the case may be is. But yeah, I don't really feel too talkative right now, honestly. I'm just sitting here in my own stillness. I'm really working through the part of me that wants to work and create, and a part of me that wants to relax. And that's been another thing since I've been healing. It's like I'm really learning to sit in the stillness more. Like before, it was a lot easier for me mentally to just stop and be still. And since my brain has been healing, it's been harder for me to focus. And now I'm slowly getting to a place again where I can just be in the silence and the stillness without feeling like I need to do something or think about something. And so it's just a going in deeper process. I'm like, as I'm talking, I just feel these waves of energy flowing through me, and it just feels super relaxing. It feels pleasurable in a way that's just like, it feels good in my body, you know? And I guess even one of the containers I'm in too, okay, yeah, funny. And one of the containers I'm in, we're focusing really on, it's about, for one, being a better space holder and coaching someone through transformation, but it's really helping them dive deeper into the body, the sensations in the body, working through things that come up, but staying in the body with it and letting it move and transmute. And versus so much as sometimes we intellectualize things or even express things. So it's good for me because I'm going deeper even into my somatic work that I've been doing over the years. Like, a lot of my journey started out was intellectualizing and intuitively doing things through my body. And then over time, I started to be in my body more, and I could express the energy, not always the feelings, even though I could see it, but I didn't have a practice of always expressing the feelings for what's coming through. So like, say for instance, if I'm feeling like a tightness in my chest, I know from my own ability to tap in, this is grief, or this is pain, or this is a memory that's coming through, versus maybe I'm not saying as much, I'm this tightness, this self. like really working with the sensations. So I like it because it's teaching me to really stick with the sensations part more, like to tap into the different library of sensations to really help to move through that. So it's like I said, it's going deeper into the work. That's all it is. It's a deepening process, and that's always, it's like I tend to kind of, for the most part, always be deepening my skill set in some way, shape, or form, whether it's for my own personal growth or professional. Either way, they intermingle with spiritual, and wellness work. That those are two things that they they are intertwined. So it doesn't really matter if it's a personal or business aspect because they work together. But um, yeah. Am I complete? Like I said, I'm not really feeling. I will say too, I definitely feel like this is needed more because it's just like I do think therapy is important. I think it depends on what type of therapy. Like for me, talk therapy is okay, but honestly, as I've been realizing lately, it's not really what I need. I thought it was. I think really what I need is spaces to be witnessed and seen, where I'm still working through the spiritual aspects because I really, sometimes, yeah, I get slight mindset shifts and changes and thoughts through it, but I'm honestly at a place in my own journey and work within myself that I can really, I'm aware enough to really know what's going on within me, that I don't really need someone to reflect it back to me in that sense. I've been feeling more of like having like maybe mentorship when it comes to things, or in stuff where I'm going like more into the body deeper, because I know how to move it and work through it, and I'm being called to do that deeper, and that's what I'm in now. Um, but I was just thinking about that. Like my last couple sessions or so, I did therapy because I was like, it would be good for me, I think. But honestly, I'm not really getting what I need because that's really not what I need. So I think it's important, even with therapy, to know what type of therapy you need. Like I desire, one of my goals is to be able to hold like therapy sessions, and I'm saying finger quotes because I'm not a trained therapist. So I want to be say that as a lie, disclaimer thing, but to hold like healing sessions where maybe I'm offering counseling of a sort, and I combine the thing of like talking, somatic work, energy healing, working with plant medicine, whatever it is. But it's not just about the talking. Now, depending on you and where you're at, talk therapy might be what you need. And it's not saying that anyone is farther along or better or not, because it honestly depends on our journeys. Honestly, a lot of people on average though, that will be very beneficial for them. And like I said, for me, I was like, I think I need it because it helps me just to give a third party neutral aspect. But honestly, it's not exactly what it was for me. I'm at a stage where I'm being called to be witnessed more, like now, what I'm doing this. And the containers I'm in. Like I signed up for one of our hot seats. So I'm practicing even being witnessed more in my vulnerability and in my growth process. So in one of the mentorship groups I'm in, I signed up for one of the hot seats in the training, where I'm literally going to be working through something very vulnerable amongst the whole group of people. So for me, that was like, ooh. And it was at the same time, it was like, ooh. It's the ooh and then, ooh, that feels scary or unsafe to my being, as like tapping into old persecution wounds about really being seen and vulnerable, and even childhood stuff. And I know that's where the work is calling me from, this and other things. And so at the same time, it's like that ooh, as in, it also feels exciting. It feels good because I know on the other side of that is going to be expansion and growth, you know? So it's like things feel uncomfortable, and at the same time, I welcome those. And I also understand that growth does not always have to be uncomfortable, it can be pleasurable. So, yeah, I think. Oh, I think I'm gonna move around a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a little dance, a little somatic work maybe once I do this, even if it's just for like a few minutes, just to kind of move some energy through it. I might just sit with it. We'll see, because it really depends on what's needed. I have been noticing, I will say this too, I have been noticing lately, collectively, energy wise, a fear of the weather. I think from this tornado we haven't had a tornado this bad in decades, if maybe even ever in our area. It was the E3, they said. But I've been noticing collectively fear around it whenever the weather starts to look like it's going to get a little bad, like rainy and stuff. I notice like this energy come up. And I've learned enough to know that I am not just, this isn't just my frequency, this is other energy around me that I'm tapped into. And Spirit has been working with me on creating some protocols and processes for just some things that to do moving forward for collective shifting and things. Going deeper into that process. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Oh, okay. I'm complete now. Yeah, I think I'm complete. So, all right. Blessings.